My job was to go to 30 businesses every day.
Wow.
Yeah, 30 businesses every day. And then you had to do the follow-ups. So that's where I learned what it really takes to be a sales rep. See, like real estate agencies, to be a real estate agent, it's customer service at some point, right?
Sure.
A lot of them see it as customer service, but to go into sales, like there's a difference.
Hey guys, Brian Smith here on the Entrepreneur Blueprint, and today I have my friend, top producing agent from way back in the day. I got Mr. Raymond Romo in the house with me today. How you doing, my man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Should we go 5 years back?
Dude, we go 5 years back.
5 years back.
Let me tell you, me and this guy, we've been in more vacant houses doing inspections than, dude, we've been in a lot of...
I don't trust no one else.
Well, Raymond, I am so glad to have you today, my man.
Appreciate it.
And let's start with what we're doing here today.
Okay.
So earlier this year, we started this podcast called Entrepreneur Blueprint. And the reason why we started this is because a lot of times we hear people talking about, oh, I want to start my own business, or oh, I want to be my own boss, or I want to be closing deals like this. Well, what does that look like? You need to hear directly from the people doing it, because people see things on social media, look so easy, but you need to hear directly from the people that are actually doing it.
Yeah, I mean, social media glamorizes everything, right?
It does.
Like it's perception. It's like what it looks like, what they think they're seeing, what they think it takes, and then when they get in it, it's just a reality check. Like, whoa.
Exactly. And one of the reasons why we thought about you is because I have personally witnessed your journey from the beginning. And dude, you have taken no shortcuts.
No, none.
So what I want to do is start.
Okay.
Before, what led you, tell us where you're from, your story. What led you to get into the real estate business?
Man, I mean, so my beginning story, and which is crazy because like I've always wanted to tell a lot of people about that. Born and raised Houston, Texas, from a family with two sisters. Man, you know, growing up back then, you didn't really have too much, right? And so I was in a band. I wanted things. Kids wanted extra pairs of shoes, things like that. My dad, one day I was like, man, Dad, I want a second pair of shoes. He said, well, go cut some yards, right? I must have been 10, 11 years old.
Wow.
He's like, go cut some yards.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's not gonna work. Like, people don't do that no more. And he's like, well, try it. I did it. And I was like, okay. So one day I was riding bikes with a friend. And then I just like in my head, something told me, go knock on a door, right? And so I'm riding a bike down the neighborhood. I pull over. My friend's like, what are you doing? I knock on the door. I ask him, can I cut your yard? And he looks at me. He's like, do you have equipment? I was like, I do. And he's like, how much do you charge? I was like, $25. He says, can you come tomorrow? Yep. And I went over to my friend.
How old were you?
Like 11 years old.
I love it. I love it.
I was like, what? And I was like, that worked. I went to the next house. Hey, I'm cutting his yard tomorrow. Can I cut your yard? Yeah. Okay. And then next thing you know, that's whenever like computers were barely starting to come out.
Wow.
Like then computers were barely starting to come out. And so I was like, okay, how can I make this even bigger? So I created like little tabs. You know how like when you find like lost dog and it has their phone number and stuff? I went to like the local stores and I made a flyer and I had my number with the tags. Man, I ended up starting a business at that age.
Come on.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so the crazy part, I had two guys under me that would cut. If they wouldn't wake up in the morning, because you know we're young, we ain't trying to wake up. But my dad would drop me off at the neighborhood and pick me up when he got off of work.
Really?
Yes. Like
that's hardcore, man.
That's how it started.
Wow.
Like, you know, like just like doing it, doing it. And the first yard I ever cut, oh my gosh, it took me like 3 hours to cut that yard. Like just because I was so young and I didn't know what it took. But then I started getting it. And then fast forward, I was in high school. No, I was in middle school in 7th grade, and I wanted music equipment, but we didn't have enough money to afford new music equipment,
Okay.
right? My
Okay.
bass player needed a new bass, and so what did I go do? You got to find a will way, right? I went up to the Burger King down the street, and I asked to talk to the manager. This is in 7th grade, granted.
Come on.
I went to the Burger King, and I talked to the guy, and I said, hey, we have a band. We're trying to raise money. What can we do? Right? Can we do a car wash here? He said, yeah, sign up. What day do you want? Every weekend you have for the rest of the month.
Come on.
That's exactly what I did.
Really?
Yes. That first day, we made enough to buy him a bass.
The first day.
The first day
of the car wash.
Of the car wash.
Come
first
on.
day. The second weekend that we did it, we bought a guitar amp for the guitar player.
Come on.
Yes. I mean, man, that was like the start. And all my friends would always tell me, like, man, you're not scared. You're fearless, like, to go up and talk to people. And so I was like, okay. So I knew a sales like was in me out the gate. And then fast forward, whenever I'm like an adult now, my sister started a staffing agency.
Okay.
Yeah. And so at that point, I come from the manufacturing. I was a CNC machinist for 3 years. And she's all like, hey, look, I want to start this agency. I know you're good at sales. Can you do something for me?
Okay.
Perfect. Let's go. I always wanted to be in sales. So I went door to door.
Really?
Yes, door to door.
Really?
And we were a new business. And I was young still. I mean, at that time, I was like 24.
Okay.
So convincing
Door
people,
knocking.
door knocking. My job was to go to 30 businesses every day.
Wow.
Yeah, 30 businesses every day. And then you had to do the follow-ups. So that's where I learned what it really takes to be a sales rep. See, like real estate agencies, like to be a real estate agent, it's customer service at some point,
Sure,
right?
sure.
A lot of them see it as customer service, but to go into sales, like there's a difference. There's a big difference. And so I learned it off of like going business to business. I learned it by the way I talk to the vice presidents, owners of companies, HR, human resources. Like that's where I learned. And my sister actually kind of guided me in that route too, because she was a top producer at her agency for years. She was a diamond sales rep.
Wow.
So, you know, like she didn't get to spend too much time with me, but I got a blueprint of what is to be expected. And then that kind of like, you wear multiple hats and you're like, okay, right? So then after that, I was like, man, like, what do I need to do something for myself then? I already got all the tools I need. I've already learned everything. I started shopping for a home, right? Yeah, I started shopping for a home. 2015, 2016. But it still took a while before I actually made the jump. And at that point, my wife was pregnant. She didn't want to stress out. I didn't want her to stress out at all. So I kind of took the reins on it, communicating with the lenders, communicating with the title companies, communicating with the real estate agent. I didn't necessarily like the way my real estate agent handled our house.
Okay.
I negotiated my house sale from like on my own.
You're
Like,
a fierce negotiator.
Yeah,
You're an excellent
Hey,
negotiator.
I tell everybody, I negotiate against my own mom. You know, like
a great negotiator.
man, that is one thing. So I negotiated my house myself before I had a license, before anything. I told the agent I wanted to buy the house, but it needed a lot of work.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not going to pay what they're asking, like for me to pay. So my sister lived down the street from the house. I went to my sister's house and we were relaxing. I told my wife, I'll be back. I walked down the street, knocked on the door, talked to the owner. And I said, hey, look, your house has been on the market for a long period of time. I like it, but it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. So this is what I'm willing to offer you. I have talked to my agent. I'm going to tell her to put in this offer. I just want to know if you're willing to accept it or not, so that way I know what we're going to do.
Come on.
And she's all like, we'll take it. We'll take it. I called the agent. I said, I need
Dude,
you.
you've been door knocking
Yeah.
since you were...
Oh, like that's been my thing.
Yeah.
That has been my
Yeah.
thing. The thing is, the mouth that doesn't open doesn't eat.
Amen. Amen.
You know,
Y'all hear what he just said? Wait a minute. Tell him again.
the mouth that doesn't open doesn't eat. And
Amen.
that's a fact. That comes from when you work at a company and you don't feel valued or anything like that. Like, you need to speak up. Like, if you're good at what you do,
Yeah.
they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. And
So fast forward a little bit, and so now you enter into the real estate.
yeah.
So talk to us about your decisions, or your sales, you're honing your skills in sales, and what was it that made you decide real estate is where I'm gonna go?
So I got tired of all my successes being credited to somebody else, right? Sometimes whenever you work for a company or you work for someone, you can feel like that eventually. And the thought is that I've always had entrepreneur spirit. I just needed to figure out what I was good at, right? And sales was what I was good at. But I also love houses. I love the idea of it. When I bought my house, I did all the work on it myself. But I watched a lot of things that, you know, HGTV, fixer-uppers, all that stuff. I mean, man, I watch anything and everything you can. YouTube tutorials. I still watch it religiously. So then I was like, all right, what do I need to do? What do I want to do? And then I had a friend of mine. He was the very first sale I ever got in on real estate. He was his lease was about to be over, and he said, "Hey, Ray, I know you want to be an agent. How about you go get your license and sell me my house? And help me buy a house, right?" And I said, "What?"
That's a good friend.
Oh, a great friend. He's my best friend to this day.
That's a great friend.
Yeah, he's my best friend to this day. He said, "Go get your license, but you need to hurry up because I'm not going to be here long, and I got to go.
I got to make a move."
Yeah, I got to make a move. And so I went home that night, right? And I didn't even talk to my wife about it.
Come on.
But she knew that I wanted to be a real estate agent. She knew. And I was in the room. I was putting my son to sleep. And I started looking at courses, and I was looking online. And I was like, and then I just hit that pay button.
Boom.
I just like, boom.
Take the plunge.
I just jumped in. And I went over there to my wife all shaking. And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Man, you ain't gonna believe what I did." And she's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "I purchased my real estate classes." And she's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "How much did you pay for it?" And I think maybe like $1,000 or a little over $1,000.
One of the best investments you ever made.
Yeah, and I was like, and she's like, "Well, you better wake up every morning and get at it." And I was like, "Oh, I ain't got no choice. Homer wants to buy a house, and I need to make this happen." So what I did was I did 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night when my kids were asleep. Because I did it online.
Wow.
I did it online. So you could study at your own pace.
You're getting after it.
Oh man, I got after it. When the kids were asleep, I would stay up late in the evening. But I got my classes and I took my tests in 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Dude, you plowed through that.
I just dove in. But it was like, when you love something, you do it.
Yes.
And with the real estate classes, I didn't have somebody teaching it to me. I had to teach myself. And I loved it that I read everything. And sometimes I have to read some things twice just so I know that. And then I have to talk to people about what I read, so that way I know. So I would talk to everybody about real estate at that point. And I just grabbed it. And so when I talked to the instructor and I said, "Hey, I think I'm ready to take my courses," he's like, "I don't know, you did it pretty quick." And I was like, "It's go time.
Yeah.
It's go time." And he quizzed me and he's like, "I guess you're ready." And I passed my test and I was like, "Let's go." And I called my friend. I said, "Hey, I got my license.
Let's do it."
Let's do it." Before I even bought a Supra, like before I paid to get Supra access, like I was already like, "Hey, look, I got to do it same day. We're going to go look at a house."
Wow.
Yeah, just like that. And when that house was actually that showed me you can do it.
Yes.
You can do it. I negotiated him. I reduced on the price. I got full max concessions, and I got them to put a brand new roof on the home.
Come on. First deal?
First deal.
Come on.
And so my broker at that point told me that you're going shopping for a new car at a used car dealership. He's like, "It doesn't happen. Like, you're going to push away the deal. You're going to lose the deal. You're not going to negotiate it right like that." I said, "All due respect, this is my best friend. Like, if the deal doesn't work for him, then it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Regardless the money or not."
Yeah.
And I took that mindset, and next thing you know, the person came back. And this is before I even knew how deals are even negotiated. Like, in my mind, I was just trying to just problem solve. What can I do? How can I do it? So what I did was I called a roofing company and I said, "Can you accept payment at closing?" I didn't even know that was a thing then. I had read stuff in books, but I really didn't take that, I guess, know that. And I needed to know how I can put that in play. And I called somebody and I said, hey, is this possible? They're like, it actually is possible. So I called a couple of roofing companies and they said, yeah, we can do that. I called the agent. I said, here goes a couple quotes. They can take it at the closing. What do you want to do? She said, let me call my people. And she did it, and it bit.
Come on.
It bit. That was my first deal.
Wow.
And after that, I said, oh my gosh. Like, it was a home run. It was just the type of deals that dreams are made of, to be honest with you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
That's
after
amazing.
that, I was like, oh man. And my wife told me one thing. She's all like, did you take special care of him, like, because he's your best friend? Or is that what you're going to do moving forward? And I was like, no. That's what I'm going to do moving forward. Why fix something that isn't broke, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to care for everybody like I cared for my friend.
And you have absolutely
you
done
know
that.
me.
You have absolutely
You
done
know
that.
me.
You've absolutely done. So let me ask you a question. So, you're moving into, you're in your career, and I know you're a busy guy. I've seen you for years juggling many, many responsibilities.
Oh, yeah.
How do you balance everything that you got going on?
I hear the other people talk about, like, being able to cut off times and being able to, like, prioritize certain things. And there's a method to my madness.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like, so whenever I first started, like, obviously childcare, that was like an issue, right? I would take my kids on sometimes with me.
Really?
I would.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, I was the top producer straight out the gate. I capped out the very first year I joined real estate.
Come on.
I did.
Yeah.
I capped out the first year.
And you know what? One thing that I love about your story, you were putting it out there before you passed your class.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't wait until after you got your license to
no.
start promoting. You were telling people before you got your
Well,
license.
the thing is that because I was already door-to-door sales, I knew what it took to start a business.
Yeah.
So I had a few dollars saved up. I took professional photos out the gate.
Wow.
I purchased Canva, and I started making flyers out the gate.
Yeah.
Before I was even gotten my license. And so that way, whenever it was time to roll, I had a whole package ready to go.
Yeah.
And that catapulted me, because what it is that people want to see, like, somebody who's stable. They want to see somebody who already looks like they're in business.
Yeah.
Because if you don't look like you're in business, or you don't look like you've been doing this for a little bit, it's hard to get somebody to want to buy.
And people, I think, they can sense when you genuinely have their best interest.
That's
at
it.
heart.
For sure.
People can see, or versus somebody that's just there for the paycheck.
For sure.
And now we all got to get paid. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the way that you're invested in your clients.
Invested.
I mean, I've seen
But the referral, like, basis is amazing, right? Like, you do good and they feel genuinely happy what you did for them. They're gonna tell their cousins. They're gonna tell their family members. They're gonna tell their best friends. I mean, I hardly now have to go and find the client.
Wow.
They more so come to me.
There you go.
But because they know that I'm gonna take care of them. Right? They know that I have their best interest. Like, even when it comes to the inspections, I have a good team behind me. So I have a really great title company, I have a really great lender, and I have a really great inspector, and everybody comes in as a package deal with me.
Yeah.
And now I can give my referrals and say, hey, look, these are who I use. If you want to use somebody else, let's try it. But this works. And I know for sure, look at them up, look everything up, and see what you think.
There you go.
And at the end of the day, we always go with you. We always go with my title company. We always go with my lender. But they trust the process. They trust the group that I'm with. Everybody around me is so knowledgeable in their profession that it just makes it run smooth.
There you go.
Because you don't want hiccups in this industry.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you a couple more things. So here on the Entrepreneur Blueprint, what we are looking to do is give the people some actionable advice. So if there's someone out there watching that, they're wanting to be successful in real estate, they're wanting to close deals like Ray, they're wanting to, what would be a couple of bits of actionable advice you would give somebody starting out?
Man, I would say if you're gonna do it, right? Take the jump.
Take the jump.
Take the jump.
Take
It's
the
hard to. It is hard to be able to do both. Work a company or a job and then be a real estate agent, because you can't answer the phones as much as you want. You can't leave and go and do it. So I would say if you're going to do it, you just be prepared to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you are going to do it part time, man, make sure that your weekends are all booked up with selling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you are going to give up a lot of time.
Yeah.
You're gonna give up a lot of time to start off, but that
Especially
gets
if you're
better.
trying to do
If
dual
you're trying to do
careers.
dual. Yeah, and even if you are doing real estate by yourself, you're going to give up a lot of time in the beginning. It's a process. So I would say get the materials, do the research, but invest in yourself. A lot of times is that a lot of people that have money, they don't like to invest in their own business. They don't.
Now, see, now you're talking the truth right there, because I've seen a lot of people that they think they can get everything on YouTube for free, but you gotta invest in yourself.
I mean, even
in your
then,
business.
you can see the difference in quality. You can see the difference in the camera work. You can see the difference in the materials that they're bringing, whether it's photos. Like, I've seen agents that do like a photo shoot, and I'm just like, man, like, why put that out? I don't put anything out that isn't quality.
That's right.
And that was from the beginning. That was like straight out the gate. I refuse. The first brokerage I went to, they put your like welcome photo. They photoshopped one of the photos off of my Facebook or Instagram. And instantly I told them, take that down, please.
Because that's not the quality.
That's not how I'm going to introduce myself to this world.
Wow.
And I already had, like I said, I prepared myself with photo shoots already.
Yeah.
I said, use this photo. And it was a high quality photo.
There you
I
go.
paid a lot of money for those photos, which some people, they ask me all the time, how much did you pay for your photos? And I think that photo shoot cost me every bit of like $600.
Come on.
Back then,
Wow.
without anything.
That's an investment.
That's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, now it's gone up.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the?
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to pay nothing like that. They don't want to invest in their business. So if you're going to start it, invest in your own business. Invest in
that.
yourself. When you get the money, portion out. I mean, I knew how much I had to start with. That's included my classes. That's included my photos. That's included my videos. Everything. I did commercials for myself before commercials were even a thing. Like, really. And I paid for all that myself. On my advertising, everything. I paid for it all. And I would tell them, like, do the real deal and then be prepared to shift it out like that. Because you could shift it out in increments. And it could last you every bit of a year.
Sure.
And honestly, I got my money back in the second deal I did.
Come on.
You know? So after that, I was in the positive. So I would tell people, hey, look, invest in yourself. You're going to give up some money. You probably already did. But keep giving that money back. Keep
Love
giving.
that.
Because
Love
it'll
that.
increase.
There you
You'll
go.
get it back
Hey, you're
tenfold.
right. It's reaping and sowing.
Yeah,
you
you'll
plant the seed, you reap the harvest.
You'll get it tenfold.
You'll get it tenfold.
You'll get it tenfold.
So, Ray, let me ask you. We're getting close to the end, but I also like to ask, is there any books you may be reading or in the past or podcasts, anything that you listen to that may be helpful for people to check out?
You know, I'll listen to like Dave Ramsey and stuff. I'll listen to like Ricky Carruth.
Yeah, I like Ricky Carruth. and
Yeah,
Dave.
like I'll listen to some of their stuff. Do I agree with everything they say? Necessarily not. But
Sure.
I take things from every other person.
Yeah.
Right? I take little things. My brokerage, they offered ninja selling, which is like a renowned class course.
Okay.
All the big industries. We're talking about Apple. We're talking about Microsoft. We're talking about the major industries. They get these people to go over there and train their sales reps.
Wow.
Yeah. So my brokerage actually got them to come to our agency, and it depends on where you're at, right? Like, I'm at a top agency for a reason.
Yeah.
And so they had them.
Shout out to your brokerage.
Oh,
Doing big
man.
things. Can we shout out to your brokerage?
Nan fam.
Come on now.
Honestly, I found where I love right there. Everybody's hungry. And so realistically, like, that's where I say, so they took us to ninja selling. I read the book. I grab little things for it, but I also grab things from other top producers at my brokerage. Because some of the guys that are at my brokerage and ladies at my brokerage, man, they're doing 40 million a year.
Wow.
They're doing 20 mil easy a year. To become a top producer there, you have to do at least 5 mil.
Come on.
You know?
Come on.
If not, you got to work under someone else.
Yeah.
So luckily, we're top producer.
You're top producer. You're top
We're
producer.
top
my
producer.
man. My man.
But that's who I listen to.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Right. So let me ask you, before we get out of here, how can the people get a hold of you? They want to buy some real estate, sell some real estate, invest, whatever. How can the people connect with you?
Facebook, Instagram. My Instagram is Ray_living the dream.
Okay.
I'm living it.
He's living the dream. We're gonna include your information on the contacts. Ray, before we go publicly on camera, I want to say, man, I thank God for you.
No, thank
I got
you.
the highest respect for you, man. I mean, me and you been, dude, like I said, we've been in the trenches for a
Man.
long time.
I mean,
A long time.
A long
And so
time.
it's almost kind of, these cameras and all the
Yeah.
studio, because I mean we've been out there in the field.
I remember how I got your number.
Yeah?
Yeah, I remember
How-
you went, and that's how I know that you were the truth. You put in the footwork. You showed up at someone's open house who was a friend of mine at the first brokerage I was.
Wow.
And you introduced yourself and said, hey, look, if any inspections, can I get it? The guy instantly messaged our group and said, hey, look, if anybody needs an inspection, this guy Brian came by.
Come on.
And he actually like impressed me.
Come on.
And that guy's a smart guy. He's
Wow.
he's the head coach for baseball at Galena Park, Flavio.
Oh yeah.
Flavio.
I
And
remember him. He's a
I-
great guy.
Yeah, and
He's
so
a great guy.
but he's credible.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so I was like, man, I'm gonna need somebody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need somebody. And instantly I said, can you pass me the number?
There you go.
And that's how I met you.
There you go.
But
There
I
you
was
go.
like, man, like, like people are meant to be around each other for certain times. And
Amen.
It happened at the right moment for us.
Amen. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Entrepreneur Blueprint. Connect with my guy, Ray. He is the truth.
I try to be.
He is the truth. Brian Smith here, Ray Romo. We're going to catch you guys next time on the Entrepreneur Blueprint. Thank y'all for joining.